I haven't always been an Angel Reese fan. Didn't drink the Kool-Aid. Not a hater, but just wasn't a fan. But lately, she's been growing on me as a basketball player, what she's been doing on the court, what she's been doing off the court in terms of business. Let's talk about Angel Reese. Stay tuned. Hello again, my name is Christopher F. Coleman with the Business Intelligence Group. I'm a business leader, advisor, and business coach. And in this video, I want to talk about Angel Reese. I want to talk about some of the business opportunities she's created for herself. I want to find the business principles in there. I want to carve them out and really illustrate those out to you. And I want to talk a bit about Angel Reese and what she means to the WNBA, to her team, and her future. And so the first thing is, I've not been an Angel Reese fan per se, but I started to really appreciate and put a lot more respect on Angel Reese's name when she began to get criticized about her missing a lot of shots, but she's getting the rebound and putting them up. Well, even though she was getting criticized for that, that's still not easy to be able to get your own shot and put it back up. So even though people not necessarily they criticized her, but it was in a teasing manner. And so it was funny at first, but from someone that is working really hard to get their own rebound, you got to give her credit for that. And then the second thing, from a business aspect, she turned a negative into a positive by, she has her own store, theangelreese.com, where she's selling merchandise. She trademarked the term or the word Mebounds, and she started putting on t-shirts. And you know, she got shirts here for $37 for All-Stars, Mebounds, She Bounds, All-Star Barbie, All-Star Bound rather. They call it Chi-Town Barbie. And she's got a lot of nicknames, Mebounds. Like, this is phenomenal. And I think the first principle I want to lay out is that if you're being criticized for something as a business leader, where you're a CEO or you're a leader within an organization, I know me as an African-American man in leadership, I oftentimes get criticized a lot. I feel like I'm very intelligent. I'm very competent in my job. 17-year United States Army combat veteran, paratrooper. I've been in project management, occupational environments in terms of industrial environments, supply chain logistics. I've been in biotech. I've been in so many different industries, and I've been an operations leader. And I've been criticized for various things, and just being an African-American man in leadership, some people just don't like you telling them what to do, whether you're in leadership or not. And in this environment where you have Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, where there's been a lot of attention put on Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese has some value as well. And there are two different demographics that hold these individuals in high regard, and maybe that's some of the source of the criticism. But I think for Angel Reese, she's turned this negative into a positive. You know, rightfully so, she was missing a lot of shots. You know, she's a forward, and so forwards should have a higher field goal percentage because they're closer to the rim. But she missed a lot of point blank. But you have to realize there's a lot of people under the rim trying to stop her. Just like Caitlin Clark, there's a lot of people that are really putting a lot of pressure on Caitlin Clark when she brings the ball up the court. There's a lot of people on Angel Reese that is trying to stop her from getting easy layups, from stopping her trying to get Mebounds. And so maybe that's not talked about enough. So from that perspective, as a leader, that first point, you know, what are you criticizing on? What are people criticizing you with, and how can you turn it around as a positive? I know for sure I've done something like Angel Reese has done, to make t-shirts, where I've been criticized at an organization where I was making decisions that was beneficial more long term, and not necessarily being short-sighted. I made this t-shirt that said, you know, don't sacrifice today for tomorrow. And I made these t-shirts and did these different things. And so sometimes you have to take up for yourself, you know, show people that, you know, you're not backing down. You're not, you know, you don't care what they think. I'm gonna keep doing me. And that's one thing I like about Angel Reese. And I think that's a great, in terms of that regard, a great role model to follow, a great example to follow. And so the next thing I want to take a look at is her stats. Last night against Minnesota, they lost, but they lost their, I would say, their point guard and Ariel Atkins, and I think she's been very good for that team. But I think the Sky, they need a dynamic point guard who's just a scorer, someone that can slash, get to the rim, but sometimes can pull up maybe in the mid range or even a three. Somebody like Courtney Williams would be great. Somebody like, just imagine Kelsey Plum with Angel Reese and Cardosa on the Sky. Someone who can really penetrate to bring in the double team on them, and they can, facilitate the pass to Angel Reese. Angel Reese is down low. When she gets the ball, she can bring that double team. Angel Reese can kick it back out to a scorer who can either slash or pull up from mid-range or even three. That would be deadly. And so I think a more dynamic point guard that can facilitate the offense, can get Angel Reese the ball, but be so dangerous with the ball that they can't double team Angel Reese and Cardosa when they get down low, because they have a not necessarily a size advantage necessarily, but just a grit advantage. Angel Reese wants every rebound, every offensive rebound. So yesterday she had 22 points. She had 9 field goals made out of 14 attempts, 64%. I think for her position, if she can stay above 60% field goal percentage, I think that'll be great. She had 1 3-point attempt. I think she needs to have at least 1 or 2 3-point attempts per game, because if she could start knocking down threes, it forces the defense to come out, and she's been working on her ball handling. I think she can really get past some of these forwards in the league to get to the hoop. Let's see. Let's talk about rebounds. She had 10 rebounds, or all defensive rebounds. She didn't have any offensive rebounds. Nafisia Collier really worked hard trying to keep Angel Reese at bay. She was really putting in effort, and she still was able to get 10 rebounds. 3 assists, that's decent for a forward. If she can get to 5 assists a game, facilitating the ball as a point forward, kind of like Alyssa Thomas, she'd be dangerous. And she had 1 block, and it looked like she had 5 turnovers. Plus minus is -20. The plus minus, after Atkins left after the second half, I think the whole team had negative plus minuses. And so I just think, it's the coach's job to get the most out of the team. I don't think the coach is doing the best. I think that you can get a lot more, especially when you have somebody like Angel Reese as well as Cardosa. I think they can do a lot better. But if you look at the rebounds, she's had double-digit rebounds all the way up until last time they played Phoenix. Phoenix is a very dynamic team with Alyssa Thomas, Sabally. Now they got DeWanna Bonner. But I think in this game, that's a lot of hard work. Alyssa Thomas she has a high basketball IQ, and I think, that game is one of the games where she didn't do as well. But she's got, she's averaging double-digit rebounds. Now, when you look at other forwards in the league, how many forwards in the league are averaging double-digit rebounds, as well as double-digit in scoring? How many? I don't know. I think that's a great question, though. She's averaging 14 points, 12 rebounds, 3.8, say 4 assists. If she can get to 5 assists a game, I think I think that would be legit. Another thing, just as I look at some of her ability to score, she's bringing the ball up the court. If she can get her cardio and conditioning up and really run, she can outrun a lot of the forwards in the league. Going to the hoop, just diving, getting to the hoop on fast break opportunities, and then just outrunning the opponent, and having really a lot of condition. She's strong. She has a lot of grit, and so I think that will put her even further of the competition. I think in the WNBA top 25, I think she was ranked 18. I would say she's probably, probably top 15, just because of most of her grit. And then she's really, if she continues to work on her skills, ball handling skills, and really focus on maybe some mid-range shooting, if she can get that little fadeaway jumper, that close fadeaway jumper like Nafisi Collier gets down, man, she's deadly. And then she's as she, blitzes to the rim for easy baskets, just outrunning. I think she's been great. See, look, she's taking the Collier off the dribble. I think if she does that more, my lord, she can be better than Nafisi Collier because of the grit. Nafisi Collier is very skilled. She reminds me of Kevin Durant, but Nafisi Collier reminds me of Kevin Durant a lot. Just very smooth, very skilled. But someone like Angel Reese, with her grit and just determination as a competitor, it's kind of like Kevin Durant and like Kobe's mentality put together. It's just, I think, and this is something I really think about Angel Reese. I think she has more upside than Caitlin Clark. A lot more upside. I think Caitlin Clark has come in much more polished, much more skilled. But I think that Angel Reese can have a larger impact on a team than Caitlin Clark can in the long run, only because she can rebound. That's something. It's just one of her size, just her makeup. I think Caitlin Clark is just as competitive and has a lot of grit, but just because of her size and position, she can get more rebounds than Caitlin Clark. I think she can get easier points in terms of, because she's really close to the hoop. She's a forward. She's playing close to the hoop, so she can get a lot more easier points around the hoop. She can be a shot blocker. And if she can get her assists up to, like, again, 5, and then later on, and she can become more like Alyssa Thomas in terms of facilitating as a point forward, I think she can have much more impact on a game than Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark is a phenomenal playmaker, and she can shoot. But all those other things, Angel Reese can be good at, setting picks, just doing a lot of the dirty work. I think she can have a lot more impact long term than Caitlin Clark. And so just watching a game, if you notice during the game, when she was excited to go up against Nafisi Collier, every time she had position down low, she's asking for the ball. She's not afraid. She wasn't afraid of that matchup. She wanted all the smoke. And so that's that. In terms of popularity and notoriety, when you look at Angel Reese and her following, she has a lot of following. Let me find Angel Reese here. So Angel Reese, she has 5 million followers on Instagram. I don't know, I'm not on Twitter. I need to get a Twitter account, X account, but she has 5 million followers. And the thing is about the WNBA, they need more people watching the games, so that as more people watch the games, the viewership goes up. When the viewership goes up, there's more value in terms of the deals they're making with these media rights deals. And so her having 5 million followers, that's very profitable to the WNBA, because she brings a whole demographic, a whole following to the WNBA. Now, when you look at somebody like Caitlin Clark has 3.5 million. In her own right, she's very popular, 3.5 million. But Caitlin Clark doesn't have as many as Angel Reese does. Let's go back to Angel Reese. Angel Reese, she's on Vogue magazine. I think there's a Chanel forward or some things here. But here she's on the 2K cover. That's going to have a lot more following. Angel Reese, she had her own shoes. She has opportunity. She's made it. If she never played another game in the WNBA, she's set for life. And she won. She won. And so I really have grown to really appreciate Angel Reese because of her business. Again, the first thing is that she turned a negative into a positive. They were criticizing slash teasing her about her missing point blank shots, getting the rebound for him. So she trademarked and she called it Mebounds. The second thing is that some of these sponsorship deals, she was able to get such a large following, which is very, very profitable to the organization she works for. And so the thing about you, how can you be such an impact on your team, in your organization, that they see you as profitable even outside the job that you do? Maybe it is your leadership that goes beyond just your team. Maybe it is your influence. Whatever the case might be, Angel Reese is doing a lot for the WNBA. And even though, when Caitlin Clark went out and, they say that the ratings dropped 50%, there's still a lot of people that really enjoy watching Angel Reese. And she's been there, she's been improving, and that's all you can ask for. They coming into the league, you can't say that she hasn't improved, because she has. And if she continues to improve, I think Angel Reese would be a bigger impact on the team than Caitlin Clark. And I love Caitlin Clark. She's one of my favorite players. But Angel Reese, you got to put some respect on her name. So again, my name is Christopher F. Coleman with the Business Intelligence Group. It's been real. It's been fun. Catch you in the next one. Peace.